Dunston had a little bit of a run back to take a couple, and they didn't quite execute it correctly. So a steal of one by Laing and Jones, and that brings us up to date. In the third end, you haven't missed much. Of course, you've missed a lot when you miss watching these two teams play. Some great curlers, but we're now live and we're here, and we'll start to bring you the action and get you up to speed on what's happening. As you can see, no surprises. We've said all through the week and all through the draws. Lots of rocks in play, lots of rocks going on. Pincott and Dunstone are blue. They do have the hammer this end. Jones and Laing, they are red. They have a few in the house, and so do Dunstone and Pincott. And as we say, it doesn't take much to change the advantage. But currently, with Matt Dunstone throwing the stone, they have a bit of an advantage if they can do a double tap back here and get their rock in a scoring position. But at any time, with any misses, we can get lots of stuff happening. I'm going to be with you here for just a little bit in Canmore, bringing you some of this game. Then I'm going to pass it over to John Shirelli. I will say, John and I both were in Ottawa for a time together. We used to play competitive golf together there. John's an avid curler. He curls out of the Canmore Club. Very familiar with the place and the ice. Also very familiar with curling. He'll bring you some great commentary here in Canmore over the next little while. Well, I take a little break and deal with a few things back in Banff. So we'll be welcoming John very shortly, and I hope you enjoy what he has to bring with you. He's going to try and get Darren Moulding over for a little bit again. Darren joined us the first draw in Canmore yesterday to tell us a little bit about the ice. We'll have him back to see what's changed and how's it going, and is he happy, and maybe again get a little bit more information about Moulding and his teams and what he's doing out there. In the meantime, Matt throwing a nice rock down. He did advance the blue rock in. It's really good positioning here for Dunstone and Pincott. They've got the shot rock, but they've also got two very usable ones. But of course, on the right-hand side, that's the same case for Laing and for Jones. It looks like they're going to try and come down and advance one of theirs in, try and move some of those blues around and regain the advantage of rock placement. It really does come down to the last few rocks to see what's actually going to happen, but it's really important in this game to get good placement, especially in the top of the house. So Brett Laing's set in the hack. Obviously, he plays front end on his team, so very adept to sweeping. We'll see him pop up really quick and jump into the play and be able to sweep and guide this rock in if it needs any help. He let it go very cleanly. Jones is not yelling at him yet. Not that she needs to yell at him, but he's ready to go if she needs him to. It looks like it's going to stay a little wide. That little extra weight is trying to curl over. Is it going to get it? Is it going to get enough of it? Here it comes through, and oh yes, just maybe a little too much. It did bounce off, and it leaves Dunstone and Pincott a really good opportunity to come through that small port and go blue on blue and get rid of the both reds. They will both go quite easily if he can get down there with some weight and leave them sitting a bundle. So Pincott and Dunstone down two, but with last rock and a tremendous opportunity to set something up. We do have two rocks left for Dunstone and Pincott, but only one for Jones and Laing, and looking a little worried at the other end because we know how Matt can throw. Very good at the takeout, even without sweepers, and you can tell he's sensing an opportunity, as is Pincott. I talked to both Pincott and Dunstone earlier when I was in Banff, and the one thing that I asked them was, what's the thing that they like the most about mixed doubles curling? And what I understood is Pincott, what she likes the most is that her name is actually used in the team name. Traditionally, that's used with the skip's name, and in mixed doubles, they use both names. So Pincott's saying she likes the fact that that's the way it gets to be. I asked them their favorite fruit. Why not? Find out what they like to eat. Pincott, it's strawberry, and Dunstone, it is watermelon. So a couple of interesting facts about the two of them, and we'll talk a little bit more about them as we go. And but right now, let's focus on the shot. It is coming. It is going to curl through. He's got a great shot going. Did it over curl, though? Did it over curl? No. In fact, it even ended up better. There is counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blue stones. That's what they're facing, Jones and Laing, on their last shot. Of course, the person who's throwing that is Jennifer Jones. She is not unfamiliar with these types of situations, and if you're going to have somebody in this game throw a shot, why not Jennifer? Of course, in the normal four-person game, she'd have two sweepers to help her here, but I think you're going to find that she can throw the shot just fine, and Brett Laing, being a very adept sweeper of his own, I think can help guide this rock in. So not the situation they wanted to face, and I think they're hoping to get rid of maybe 3 in this shot. Looks like they might give up 2 or 3, but very manageable when you carry a two rock lead. So let's get settled here as Jones settles in. No pressure. It's so interesting. Not even a worry. She's so focused on making the shot, even though it's against, count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's watch this go. Jennifer's set. She's doing her little pre-shot routine we're very used to. Here she goes. And the shot's away. She's now released it. Lots of weight. Brent's there. She's calling line. It needs to curl. This needs to curl a lot. It is trying. It is trying. It's going to catch the top blue. Does it get enough of anything? Let's see. She did get rid of one. She got rid of two. And her rock, unfortunately, spun back, leaving Pincott and Dunstone sitting 4. So this will be a draw for 5. Funny enough, in our first game we watched here yesterday, we saw Laws. And Caitlin Laws and John Morrison take a 3 spot in the first end. And right away back, Tran and Peterman came back with a 5. And there you go. So very similar in this game. We see a 2-point lead built up here by Jones and Laing. But Pincott and Dunstone, a great, great opportunity here to take 5. And these are the shots you don't want to miss. Yes, you've got your 4. Yes, that's exciting. But you've been given a chance to put it in the 8-foot or better and get your 5th point. You want to take your time. You want to focus. And you want to find that draw weight, because any point against Jones and Laing is a big point. So she settled in. Here she goes. Matt's coming down to sweep. And the shot's on the way. As we talked about yesterday a little bit, skip sweeping. It's great to see them. And Darren talked a little bit about watching Brendan Botcher sweep. So he's a really good skip sweeper. I guess lots of practice between that T-line and back line. But here comes a Pincott shot. It looks like it's going to have backing, but is it going to have too much backing? Could move one through and lose it and still stay for 4. Let's see what happens when it makes contact. Can Brett Laing get it out? Can he get it out? Can he get it far enough? Is it going to go? I think it will. I think it will. Well, a blown opportunity, but let's look at the positive in this. They did get 4 points. They're up 2, have reversed their fortunes, and now have a 2-point lead. Jones and Laing are only down 2, though, even though they gave up 4, and will have the hammer. And as we've seen all week throughout the draws, 3s and 4s are not out of the question here, especially as you see there, because as we've said, you cannot take out a rock until the 4th thrown rock. You do get an automatic guard put up front and some backing in the house, and it's really, really leads us to a lot of offensive play. There's not a lot of defense, not a lot of takeouts made, unless, like we see there, it's a rock in the house and you're trying to move a lot of granite. So never good to give up 4. I'm sure a little bit of disappointment, but you have to look at it in the positive way. You're only down 2 and you have hammer, and you control the even ends. Not bad. Score 2 here. It's like the beginning of a new game, and we're ready to go. So I have to shake off that disappointment, and of course these 2 players will have no problem doing that. It's what they do when this happens, and they have a lot of experience on the upside and downside of many of these types of events. So we're getting set to bring you the 4th end. We're just going to say another quick thank you to our sponsors. Qualico, our major sponsor. We also have the Malcolm Hotel, Vision Electronics, Bow Valley Credit Union, our silver sponsors. Many local businesses have been helping us out, and we thank them very profusely for bringing us. Now back to Pincott's first shot, of course, without the hammer. The team choosing to have Pincott throw the 1st and 5th stones, and we've got Dunstone throwing stones 2 through 4. Same thing with the Laing and the Jones team, electing to have Jennifer Jones throw the 1st and last shot, and Brett Laing throw the 3 in the middle. Well, great throw there coming around the guard. Would have liked it a bit deeper, but again, nothing wrong with that. It is in the house, it is buried, it is behind, and it looks like Laing is going to go down to sweep Jennifer's shot, taking in all the information he needs from how it looks in the house after that shot. I'm going to be leaving you here for a little while. I'm really pleased to invite John Shirelli to take over. He's going to bring you commentary for the next little while. I'm sure Darren Moulding's going to join him. May have a few players, we don't know. But you still have Saxby Young on the production. He's here. He's going to guide you through all of the views. That's nothing that we do here in commentating. We just read what he puts up. And John will take it over from now. John, welcome. Maybe tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you used to do here at the club and what you're doing now.
Food and beverage manager here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club for the last 17 and a half years. I've recently left my position to go to another one, but I'm still a curling and golf member here. I'm very involved with the curling club here, a men's club representative on our men's night, and I've been volunteering and watching all the games so far this weekend. A lot of great curling action, and hopefully I can commentate just as well as Steve's been doing so far.
John, I'm sure you can. I think the game we played together last year, or not together, I played against you. I think you soundly handed me a loss. So a really good curler, a good league curler. It's actually some of the players you're seeing out here, Tim Burney and Dennis Graham and the like. They are people that John curls with on a regular basis. So he knows a lot about the game, a lot about the town, a lot about Canmore, and can bring you a really new, fresh perspective on many things. So we're going to pass it over. And John, good luck and enjoy, and we'll be back with you again later. Have fun.
Okay, hi. This is John Shirelli coming to you from the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. Taking over for Mr. Steve Young and doing a bit of commentary here on your live streaming for the Qualico mixed doubles. As Steve's talked about, we are in the third end, and Pincott and Dunstone have just scored a big 4-ender in the third end to go ahead 4-2 on Jones and Laing. So right now, Matt Dunstone is in the hack and getting ready to go. Aaron Pincott is following the rock and ready to sweep. As you know, in doubles, a lot of the sometimes they will follow the rock and sweep. Sometimes they get up and follow their own rock to sweep. They're trying to draw in here. Jones and Laing right now are lying one, right on the button behind a blue rock. And the rock's coming down here. Looks like it might be a little bit too heavy. They're hoping it doesn't bounce. There we go. That's a very well placed rock. Looking at that right now. Jones and Laing are looking at the angles and trying to judge which rock they can hit to possibly dislodge some blue rocks and get a big end here. As we said, Erin comes from BC, and she was a 2013 Canadian Junior champ. She's looking forward to getting into doubles. This is only her second doubles event, and Matt's only played a couple of doubles events. So as you know, a lot of the best curlers in Canada and around the world are starting to take up doubles and starting to play some more doubles. The game's getting very popular. And even our only curling club here in Canmore, we've gone from one mixed doubles league to two this year, and there's more and more people getting interested in it. John Morris, who helped organize this Bonspiel, of course, is a local here in Canmore, lives in Canmore, and is focusing more on mixed doubles since his Olympic run with Caitlin Laws. Right. He's a driving force behind the start of this Bonspiel, and this is the first annual event. They are hoping to continue this event year after year, and hopefully it gets bigger and better. 36 teams are here from all over the world, and we've been getting lots of positive feedback, and a lot of the best curlers in the world are here. And as I said, a lot of the curlers are starting to learn the doubles game and play more doubles. And now that doubles are in the Olympics, there is more and more interest amongst the best players to learn how to play doubles. Gives them more opportunities to get the Olympics. They're trying to tap the blue onto red. Brent Laing is sweeping very hard, trying to keep the rock straight. It looked like it might be over curling a little bit. And they did tap theirs up. I think they were hoping to get a little more of an outside angle on that blue rock and to get the red rock in for second shot on that blue. And it's very close for second shot, and Matt and Aaron now are having a look at the angles. There aren't a lot of good angles right now for them, so they're trying to judge what the best opportunity is at the moment. I will apologize here for any poor commentary, as I've never commentated before, and this is a short notice gig. They have thrown me in here, and we'll try and keep up the high standards that Steve has had so far during the Qualico mixed doubles. And as Steve, while they're discussing this shot, we can update you on some of the other sheets here in Canmore. Cheryl Bernard and Tom Meek are leading 3-1 on sheet 1 over Katie Crump and Jason Wilson, who are here from Brooks. And then on sheet 2, we've got Nadine Scotland and Charlie Thomas, who are leading 4-2 over Kelsey Rock and Jordan Stanky. On sheet 2, and on sheet 3 we've got Chelsea Carey, who's curling with Colin Hodgson, and they are as well leading 5-0 over the team of Nina Roth and Croy Nurnberger. Nina and Croy have come up from Madison. There's a big curling community in Madison, Wisconsin. It's of course where the U.S. national curling program is based out of. I know they came up early to do some skiing, enjoy the beautiful mountain culture we have here in Canmore and Banff. They were up at Lake Louise on Tuesday before they came down on Wednesday to start their practice sessions. Okay. Now Matt Dunstone is in the hack, and they have decided to throw a takeout. It's quite a lot of weight. Matt's very good at throwing big weight, even without a sweeper. And he's got a lot of granite moving. He's cleared out the whole house other than one red rock left behind from Jones and Laing, and they will try and draw in behind the blue rock in the top of the 12. There is also a guard out front. If you can't see it, it's the original placement of the guard, as you know, the two rocks that are placed before the start of every end for mixed doubles. Got a very good chance to score 2 or more here in this end, Jones and Laing, especially if they get this guard or draw in behind the guards in a good spot. They will probably end up scoring 2 or more. Okay. As you can see, the different types of strategies here. Jones will hold the broom so they can get an accurate line on this, and Brent will hop up and sweep his own rock if it's needed. All right. Cool. Right. And I've just been passed a note here, but we're watching Brent sweeping hard. It needs to finish a little to get completely buried, and they need to sweep it a bit to become second shot. There we go. It's not a bad stop. And just pass a note here, and we are giving a shout out to Joanne Beattie, who's watching from Ontario, our live stream here. Welcome, Joanne, and hopefully you're enjoying the curling we have here on the live stream. All right. Once again, Matt and Aaron are looking at the angles. Looks here like they're going to hit the red that is at the top of the 8-foot. Not sure if they get to the right angle. They can double those reds off, leaving Jones with only a shot for 1. In doubles curling, unlike the full team of curling, both of them are in the hack discussing the shot. They're still sort of deciding on exactly where they want to hit this red rock and where they want it to end up. And here comes Aaron, is getting ready to deliver the rock. Oh, it looks like she was a little inside. Matt has jumped on that rock, sweeping very hard, trying to get it by the guard at the top of the house. It's going to be close, and she made it by, but she jammed on the back red. So there will be a draw for 2 for Jones and Laing, unless they want to hit the. Yeah. It looks like they're discussing hitting the reds on the left for a double. She can nose it for shot, and if she hits it on the high side, she has a catcher on the outside that will stop the rock from rolling out of the rings. Yeah. Looks like Brent is following Jennifer down the sheet, so he will be sweeping the rock out of her hand if needed. And Jennifer, of course, will follow the shot and call the line for him from behind. Yeah. Okay, Jennifer is sliding out. I have a good view of this. Looks like a good release, and it's on line. I think a little bit of sweeping. It's pretty much on the nose. I don't think she's going to need the catcher on the outside. Yeah, there you go. And a score 2 for Jones and Laing, and that'll tie the game up here after 4 at the midway point. All right. And I've just been passed another shout out. A couple more people that are watching from Ontario, and I will apologize if I pronounce this name wrong. We have a shout out for Karen Wojciech and Mary Joy Aitken, and they're watching in Ontario as well. A lot of fans from Ontario, I guess. And I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, Karen. I hope you're enjoying the game. Just about starting the 5th end. Both teams still have their option. They are allowed to play a power play where they put the 2 starting rocks on the right or left side of the rings to start the end, and this can be an offensive or defensive play. It's easier to score your 1 and prevent big ends and steals if you are ahead by a few points, and it's also easier to score big end if you are behind. They will resort to the power play as well. Each team gets 1 power play per game. And a few comments about the rules here. It is not a televised event, so they don't have people timing every shot and timing their ends and their thinking time. But they are given a total time of 95 minutes to play 8 ends, which is just under 12 minutes per end. If they do fall behind, they are given a yellow card. If they fall behind even more, a red card is put up. And then the officials, who are Hugh and Cheryl Burton, are the on-ice officials for this event here in Canmore. They will put them on the clock, and once your opponent's rock stops, you have 1 minute to throw your rock, or that rock will be put out of play if you do not deliver the rock within 1 minute. Okay. We've had a couple teams on the red cards and quite a few on yellow, but no one's been timed yet, and there hasn't been a rock taken out of play. When we get closer to the quarterfinals, playoffs, and more important games, maybe things might slow down a little more. Okay. So Jones and Laing have a rock on the button in front of the placed rock in good position, and looks like Aaron has thrown it. It's a little heavy here, and it's bounced off, but it's not in too bad of a place. Yeah. We can update the games on sheet 1. The Katie Crump and Jason Wilson are tied with Cheryl Bernard and Terry Meek at 2 points apiece. And on sheet 2, Nadine Scotland and Charlie Thomas are ahead 4-3 on Kelsey Rock and Jordan Stanky. Nadine Scotland was just phoned on Wednesday as Charlie Thomas's partner Val Sweeting had to back out at the last minute, and she's a last-minute replacement, and she's been curling quite well for the week. Sheet number 3 is still 5-0 for the Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson over Nina Roth and Croy Nurnberger. Okay. So Brent Laing is now up to follow his rock down and sweeping if necessary. He's trying to put another one right in there on the button and get the end well set up for them. Okay. Yeah. Looks like he's thrown hard enough. He's sweeping quite a bit to try and keep a good line on that. So you want to keep the angles good for all your rocks. There's so many rocks in play in doubles, and at this top level, it's mostly draws. They throw so many rocks in that 4-foot area. A lot of times it comes down to getting your rocks in the exact right place and having good angles on your rocks. So so in future shots, the opponents can't get your rocks out, or you can get theirs out by hitting your rocks on the right angle. And as Steve was mentioning earlier, I heard a little of his commentary from the third end. There are lots of big ends and a lot more 3, 4 ends, 5 ends. We've even seen a 6-ender here. The team of Jeff Walker and Laura Walker scored a 6-ender this afternoon. That's quite rare, but there have been quite a few 5-enders and a lot of 4-enders as well. Just from the nature of the game and how many rocks are in play, it's very easy for a lot of big ends to happen. Yeah. All right, so Matt, looks like he's got a good shot here, trying to hold the angle on that where it's going to hit the 2 reds right on the button. Okay, and he's released his blue rock off the back, which is something he was looking to do. A lot of times you don't want they don't want rocks behind the other rocks. Call them catchers. So if you try and hit somebody's rock out, if there's rocks behind it, it's harder to get it out of the rings. And we have another shout out here. It's to Emily L. from Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome. We do have, as I said, people from Madison, Wisconsin are playing on sheet 3 right beside our feature sheet. So I'll try and keep up with the updates. Unfortunately, Nina and Croy from Madison are not having a great game so far against Chelsea and Colin. Okay, now we got Brent is back in the hack, and he will try and put another one in there. Once again, he'll be drawing in right to the 4-foot and trying to get it probably right into the pocket of the 2 blue rocks. Just again trying to get good angles on those blue rocks. Here you go. He's up. Now Brent, like some of them, there's a lot of different things you do in doubles curling. For Brent, he delivers the rock without his glove. He puts the glove back on while he's getting up from throwing the rock and grabbing the broom to start sweeping. He's sweeping this one quite hard. He's trying to get it all the way in there. If he can get it right into the pocket, it would be a perfect shot. And that's just about perfect. That's a great spot for Brent. Okay. Now, when they do a lot of these top curlers, when it is time to do a takeout, a lot of times, and when you see them practicing before the event, they will try and run the center guard that starts the end straight back into the pile of rocks. And that looks like what Matt is going to try here. Aaron is holding the broom, and it's about it looks like it's pretty much on the center of the rock. So Matt throws a nice big weight. This is going to be a heater, I think. She's now moved it just a little off center. But he'll probably be throwing nice big weight to run that center guard right back into the pile of rocks in the 4-foot. And if he can get it, if he can hit his blue rock that's on the left first, it'll go right in, should get rid of both reds, and they'll be sitting pretty good. Oh, he's hitting it a little on the high side. It looks like it might just end up being a peel. Yeah, and he caught the edge of that one. Yeah. Not quite exactly what he was looking for, I don't think, but he did open it up a little bit, and he did move the rocks around a little bit inside that 4-foot area. And once again, I'd really like to thank all the fans that came out here. I'm looking down here in Canmore. We have bleachers that hold almost 40 people. There's probably about another 20, 25 packed around those bleachers and behind the bleachers. And they've got seating along the side of the rink on the sheet number 1. It's VIP seating, but we do fill up and we put extra seats down there because there's such a demand for tickets for this event that there's almost 20 people down there along sheet number 1. Brent Lang's coming out of the hack here, delivering. It's up again with familiar, the gloves back on, and he's not sweeping yet. They're eyeing it intently, trying to draw right in. Yeah, there's the break, and he's he might, if anything, it looks they're going to sweep it a bit for a little extra curl to get it into the exact right spot that they want for that guard. Okay. A lot of times this is a sign that you have your opponents on the run. When Matt tried to run the center guard into the rocks, and there's now a center guard just a couple feet in front of the house. So he's trying to run the red rock in again. Once again, he's hoping to get onto his blue rock. If he hits it on the right angle, he can get rid of both those reds that are on the button. All right. So this time, Erin, she's holding the broom right on the outside edge of the rock. So they're hoping for it to curl up a bit and hit it just a little bit on the left side of the rock, a little bit of an angle, and get it into the blue and just in front of the 4-foot. Okay. There we go. Matt is up and following the rock. This one looks like it's on a. Oh, it picked. It picked. It was looking good coming down, and it picked, and it started. It was an in-turn curling left to right, and it picked and went to the left. That could be a big moment in this match. They really needed to move that guard that Jones and Laing had out front and try and move the rocks around in the 4-foot. And that rock, now pick is, it could be a flat spot in the ice, which sometimes it looked like it was right around the hog line, which is sometimes when curlers stay down on their knees, their body heat will do a flat spot on the ice. It could be a little piece of debris, lint or hair from one of the curlers. The ice makers here, they put a lot of time and effort into getting the ice as clean and as flat and as good as possible. They look for about 5 feet of curl is what they're looking for this week. And the ice this afternoon, hog line to hog line for a T-line draw was running at about 15.5, which is really quite fast ice. They have brought in Darren Molding, who curls third with Brendan Botcher. Usually he is an ice maker as well. He was brought in as the head ice maker, as well as Kevin, who's an ice maker from Crestwood in Edmonton, as his assistant. So the two of them have been here in Canmore and Banff since Sunday. They do a flood and they set the ice up like they want. And it's been really quite good at ice so far. That's only the second pick I've seen in about 6 draws here in Canmore. Okay. So they're trying to place another shot in there to help guard their rocks in the 4-foot. Brent was sweeping that quite a bit early to try and hold it out wide, hoping it doesn't over curl. It's just keeping it clean there as it comes up to rest about halfway to the house, and just in front on a bit of an angle from their other guard that's a couple feet in front of the house. Okay. Now it looks like they're in a bit of trouble now, especially with that pick really kind of threw them behind. I'm guessing Aaron and Matt. Aaron's going to try and draw in around the left side here, and try and get right to the edge of the button there in front of the red rock that's at the back of the button, and possibly even get shot. I'm not sure if they can get shot there on the red one that's almost touching the pin. And they'll really try and get this in and hopefully at least cut Jones and Laing down to just 1 if they get it into the right spot there, and possibly even steal 1. One drop, and it's out of the hack. Matt is jumping on it right away. He did time it from the tee line to the hog line, so he has an idea of how far he thinks it is. He's off it now. He's back on, sweeping hard. I think sweep mostly for line. He's off again. Very good. And that is a very nice shot. That is pretty much what they were trying to do. They would have liked to stuck right on it. So looks like it's going to be 1 red, I think. Very good. Which could have been lost a lot worse after that pick, and needed a very good draw from Aaron there just to cut the Jones and Laing down to just 1. Okay, and Emily L., we can update you that Nina and Croy scored 3 in the 5th end, so they're now down 6-3 to Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson on sheet 3. Sheet 2 is still 5-3 for Charlie Thomas and Nadine Scotland over Kelsey Rock and Jordan Stanky. And over on sheet 1, it is 5-3 for Cheryl Bernard and Terry Meek over Katie Crump and Jason Wilson, from Brooks. As Steve mentioned earlier, too, it's great to see. There was a piece on the CTV News in Calgary last night about Becky and Scott Moncoeur, who live in Cochrane now, curling Calgary. They used to live in Canmore. Scott was club president here. He's a big-time curler and got his wife Becky into curling about 5 years ago, and they're here playing against some of the best in the world. And there are two other, they count themselves locals. Scott listed themselves as curling out of the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. We do have our past president, Dennis Graham, curling with Ashley Sarna. Our current president, Karen Drever, curling with Tim Burney. As well as we have a teenage duo from the Banff Curling Club, as far as our local teams go. And there is a Japanese exchange student, Sora, who's curled in our men's and mixed bonspils here in Canmore in the past. Very good curler, along with his 13-year-old partner. And they're enjoying some of the top competition in the world for the first time. And I do believe Sora's only 15 or 16. And yeah, to be that young, and I mean, their first game, they curled against Reed Carruthers and Jill Officer. And they've curled against Jennifer Jones and Brett Laing, which can be pretty intimidating if you're only 13 years old. But they counted themselves very well. Against Jones and Laing this afternoon, they gave up one in the first, one in the second, I think a couple in the third, and then they scored a few. So, I mean, they were scoring a few against Jones and Laing, and they were in the game for a few ends. It was 8-3 in the end. But that's pretty good for club curlers, and they're looking to be competitive curlers. But at the age of 13, to be competing with Jones and Laing is something special. Oh. And I do believe our officials are just making Aaron and Jennifer aware that they have been given, there is a yellow card in the window behind sheet 4 here, which is a warning for falling behind time. So if they do catch up on time, or they play a little faster, there will be no more consequences. But if they continue to fall further behind, they will get a red card, and then they will be put on the clock. Okay. Right. Oh, and I've just been passed a note. Vilmer and Ishida, who are the young teenagers from Banff, Sora, the Japanese gentlemen, will be playing tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. They will be featured on the live stream that we're having, and they will be playing against Fowler and Fowler, who are an accredited. They're from England. Fowler and Fowler. They're here with a couple of Scottish teams and a couple of coaches. They do receive government funding, which is why they're over here. They're going to Regina for doubles next. They are full-time doubles players. They play a lot of tournaments in Europe. And as I said, they've got coaching and funding from the government, and that's who our young Banff teenagers are going to be up against tomorrow, and they will be featured at 4:30 on the 4:30 draw tomorrow on the live streaming. Thanks for that. Here. Okay, and we'll get back in the sixth end here with Dunstone and Pincott are down one. And they've got a rock at the top of the 4-foot and one at the back. They're looking good this end to maybe score a few. But as Steve was saying earlier too, just one shot in doubles can change a whole end in a big way. Okay. Here we go. Matt's trying to freeze onto the corner of this one at the top of the 4. He's pretty much frozen to the nose, which is in a great spot. It looks like Brent may be looking at running back that center guard right now. Which, as I say, generally is when there is takeouts, that's usually the first place they go, and it's to try and clean up an end when you're in a bit of trouble. And I might be wrong here, but it just, they didn't really point or do anything. Jennifer's down there to sweep for Brent. But it looked like they were looking at the angle on where they wanted to run that center guard back. Okay. And Jennifer's just moving to the other side of the rock. Yeah. Yep, they're straight down the center, just off the center line, hoping to come back and hit that center guard straight back into the ones on the 4-foot. Oh, it's a great shot. That's going to end up being a triple for Brent. He ran it back, lost the shooter. Not sure if you can hear through my microphone, but there's quite a cheer from the crowd here inside the curling lounge at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. That was a good shot, and I've seen quite a few people. Brendan Botcher a few times, and Jeff Walker. I've seen quite a few people so far in this. They try to run the center guard back, and more often than not, they end up peeling the center guard out of the way, which is good. But I haven't seen a lot of them hit it right on the nose like Brent just did. Run it back and make a perfect triple. That was a great shot. Okay, so now Matt is in the hack, and he'll be trying to get a draw in here into the top of the 4 foot, right behind the guards. Hopefully in the best place possible where it makes it hard for Laing and Jones to get it out of there. Okay. No sweeping from Erin so far. No sweeping from Erin there. Well, it looks a little bit heavy. A little heavy. Brent's going to sweep it to the back of the 4 foot, back 8. There we go. And just a little bit too far. Now Brent's going to throw his last rock, and he will try and do the same thing that Matt was trying to do here. Draw around the guards and stop in top 4 foot. And the match on sheet 3 with Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson, they've just defeated Nina Roth and Croy Nürnberger. They've just shaken hands after 6 ends. Unfortunate for the team from Madison. They just got off to a little bit of a rough start. A couple of shots here and there could have made the difference, but they ended up giving up a few steals there at the start of the game. The games on sheet 1 and 2 are still 2-point games, 2 5-3 leads, and they're both just about to finish the 6th end. Okay. Brent is up and following his rock down. Just giving it a bit of a sweep here. Yeah, looks like it might come up a little short. He's sweeping for distance. He's really leaning into it now, trying to get her in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to come up just a little bit short. Just biting at the top of the rings there, but the blue is still counting 1 and the back 12. So Matt and Erin are looking at exactly where they're going to want this rock to finish and exactly which way they want to come. There is a port on the right side, there's a center guard, and there's a guard on the right, just in front of the house. They're looking at coming through that port, or whether they want to come around the left side and just come straight around the rock that Brent just threw. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And as Steve said before, the one thing we get here a lot is it's nice to see the skips out there sweeping sometimes, because they always claim they're the best sweepers for 4 feet, but I'm pretty sure back in Kevin Martin's day he'd prefer Ben Hebert sweeping that 4 feet even if he had to. It's only because he was in the house that he was doing the sweeping. But yeah, a lot of these curlers are out here are skips normally, and they don't do a lot of sweeping, so it's good to see them out here. I mean, it's a different type of sweeping in doubles. When you're up after throwing a rock sometimes, following the rock down, sweeping, and you're also the only sweeper. So they do a lot of sweeping from one side, but they also come around behind the rock if they're trying to sweep the other way to make it curl more or to keep it straighter. Okay, and Jennifer's in my way here about seeing if this is going to get past the guard. Erin's sweeping quite hard for Laing here to get it past the guard, and they just tick the edge of the guard and bounce out. It was very, very close to get past that guard, but not quite. There you go. So Brett and Jennifer got to watch the angles here. They're looking at hitting that blue stone that Matt just delivered. But there is a blue and red stone at the back of the house that they have to make sure they hit on the right angle. They definitely don't want to jam it on that back red one, which would leave Pincott and Dunstone lying 2. Okay. Now that they've got down to the other end, Jennifer was having a second look at how much of that blue she could see past the red stone at the top of the 12. That's just biting the top of the house. Okay. And judging by the ice, they were taking. Looks like she's probably going to throw a lightweight bump. She's not going to be throwing a full takeout weight at this one. She will want it to curl a little bit. And Brent is taking up spot on the right side of Jennifer. So that's to get it's the better side to sweep for if he's trying to hold the rock straight, if they're close to the guard at all. Okay. There you go. Just having the final discussions about exactly how much ice they want and what weight they're going to throw. Jennifer's in her familiar in the hack pre-shot routine, wiping her hand on her leg. Just grabbing the rock and getting ready to deliver. She's good. So Brent's doing a little light sweeping just to start. And he's on it quite hard now. It looks good from here. They've got lots of clearance past the guard, I think. Yes, that's a very good angle. And they're going to hope to get as close as they can. They're going to hope to get as close as they can. That's a great shot. And they even got a slight inside roll. So they are about 3/4 buried now. So it's going to be tough for Dunstone and Pincott to get that one out of there. It's going to be tough to count 2 here. They may have to just draw for 1. Yeah, looks like Matt's tapping the button, and they might just draw in for 1. It's a very good shot from Jones there to cut them down. Here. There you go. So Matt and Aaron are making their way back down the sheet. We do have CBC Calgary now setting up. They're going to do a little bit of filming. They've come out, as I said, CTV Calgary's been out. They're really hoping to get a little bit of buzz for this Bonspiel. We got a ton of the top curlers in the world, and they're hoping to make this an annual event and then hopefully get it bigger and bigger every week. And they like this time of year. Sometimes it's hard when you're starting your first event, picking a time of year where there aren't other Grand Slam events, major mixed doubles curling events, and other Bonspiels that some of the top players might be going to. But we seem to have attracted a very, very good field to this one. So Aaron's released it. Matt jumped on that really quickly. He's sweeping really hard at the beginning. I think it was more for line. He's now switched sides. He's sweeping for curl. He's trying to keep that straight past the top card. He's on the top card. It's going to wreck on the top card. So it is a steal of 1 for red. As I say, the Bonspiel it's great for fans, especially from Calgary, or people who generally come up to the mountains. And Canmore and Banff are just beautiful places for people to come and visit. Great place to come watch curling. Banff Club is it's a relatively new facility. It's got big timber frame. Even got windows. You can see the mountains from the curling rink facing the non-sunny side. The Canmore Curling Club is it's Canmore Golf and Curling Club. So we do have a golf club attached. There is a nice dining room, beautiful patio, lots of big windows, and great views of the mountains here in Canmore. Just a beautiful place. I was talking earlier this week to the spouses of Nina Roth and Croy Nürnberger, and they'd come, as I say, they'd come up early to go skiing, and they hadn't been here before, and they were raving about just how beautiful Canmore is. They were staying in Canmore. We, of course, have the Malcolm Hotel sponsoring us here. A lot of the players are staying there. Some have rented condos in town and spending time here. Some players are staying in Banff. It's their choice which one. Every team is playing some games in Banff and some in Canmore. And everything from the event and all the feedback so far has been very positive. We do have our social night tomorrow night, Saturday. There's live local bands playing. Most of the players are going to come out to the event. And any ticket holder who has a ticket, and all tickets are good for Banff or Canmore, is welcome to come to the social tomorrow night as well. The bands will be going on around 8 o'clock, and the fun will be happening all the way till midnight. Of course, we had our, and so Pincott and Dunstone have chosen to use their power play on this end. So as you can see, they've moved the 2 starting rocks. The one that's just in front of the tee line when it's a power play, and the one that's the guard up front are moved over to the side. Now in doubles curling, Matt was just rushing down the ice in case the Jones rock was coming down to freeze to their the blue rock at the tee line. If they knock that rock out of play, it comes back into play. It's one of the different rules from the four-man curling. You cannot remove any rocks, even rocks in the house, until the fourth rock thrown. So there's the first 3 rocks thrown, you can't remove any rocks, even if the rock is in the house, which is different from the 5-rock rule that they play in 4-person curling, where you can't remove rocks in the free guard zone, but you can remove rocks in the house. That's another reason why in doubles curling you can get bigger ends and there are more rocks in play, just because you can't remove any rocks until the 4th rock thrown. So Aaron is trying to freeze down on the rock that Jennifer just threw. It looks like it's going to be a little heavy and bounce off. Yeah. Like I said, so Brent's throwing his first rock, which is only the 3rd rock. So he still can't take out that blue rock that's in the 8-foot, which is why they're drawing into the pocket there and just trying to place the rock that'll limit the scoring area for Jones or for Dunstone and Pincott. This is a perfect example of how that rule comes into play in doubles, where you can't remove any rocks till the 4th rock thrown. And that's why in 4-person curling, you get a lot of blank ends, because they can start removing rocks now. The rocks in front, or the rocks in the house. They can remove the rocks in the house if they wanted, which helps keep the end cleaner, less rocks in play. But because they can't move that rock, they're forced into this a softer game and more draws and taps. Okay. That's a very good shot. He tapped the rock to the back of the 12-foot without removing it. If he had removed it out of the house, that rock would come back, and the red rock Brent just thrown would have been taken out of play. Okay. So just remind you, the score is 6-4 for Jones and Laing. We're playing the 7th end, and Dunstone and Pincott have last rock and have chosen to use their power play for this end to try and generate a big end. Okay. There we go. And Erin, most of the time will come down to sweep Matt's rock, but she is holding the broom for him this time. They really want to get an accurate line on this shot. And I'm thinking they will probably throw, they're trying to tap that red one that is on the right side of the house and sitting in the 8-foot. I think we'll try to tap that one back. There we go. Let's let go of the rock. He's jumped up to follow it and immediately sweeping. This rock is moving quite a bit. He's really sweeping. He's past the guard. He's going to get to the inside of that red one. And it's hoping to, and he's just tapped his bound to the back blue, but he has got it out of the house. And I think blue right now is still lying 2. Jones and Laing can now remove rocks. So we might see one with a bit of weight here. And we have a final score update here. Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson have defeated Nina Roth and Croy Nürnberger 8-3. That was the game earlier on sheet 3 that ended a little bit early after 6 ends. So it was 8-3 for Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson over Nina Roth and Croy Nürnberger. Okay. And we can update you on the sheet 1 right now. Is a 5-4 score in favor of Cheryl Bernard and Terry Meek. They're 1 ahead of Katie Crump and Jason Wilson from Brooks. And Bernard and Meeks, even though they're up 1, do have last rock at the moment. And they are playing with they have chosen to use their power play, which is a good way to keep the middle of the house open, and you can guarantee yourself scoring 1. Brent Laing's running 1 back, and he has moved, got rid of the red and blue that were on the right side of the house, and the other blue is almost out of the house, but there still is 2 blue rocks hanging out at the back of the house. So there's some potential here for Dunstone and Pincott to score a few. There aren't guards now that the play has been moved into the middle. Jones and Laing have a red rock in the middle of the rings, and the other 2 blues are towards the middle of the rings too. There's not really any guards to hide behind here, or it's more difficult to hide behind the guards. So Dunstone here will be trying to play a bit of more weight. It's not a full takeout weight. You would like it to move up a bit, and he's just trying to hit the red that's on the button there on the right angle to go between his blue rocks and the back 12. Of course, and this will probably leave some sort of double for Jones and Laing on the next shot. Deliver the rock. That's up and flying the rock. It looks a little bit wide. That needs to curl a lot. He's backed right off that. It looks like if he does get the red, he's still going to spill out. And these just move the red over a little bit. Erin's sweeping hard, and she did get it out. That is definitely not what they were looking for. Just looked like he let go of it, and was drifting out a little wide, and it didn't come back enough. So now Jennifer's holding the broom right beside the rock at the back. Brent's going to throw some takeout weight, and would probably hope to hit and stick on that rock, stick around the house. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Brent's let go of the rock. No word from Jen now for sweeping. This one needs to move a little bit to stick around as well, but it looks like it's coming up. It's good weight by Brent, but I think this might spill out as well. So now Matt and Erin can draw behind that the red corner guard that the end started with when they chose the power play. They'll try and draw behind that rock. And then there's a bit of a decision for Brent and Jen. Being up 2, they can take out the blue one at the back of the house, which will leave an easier 2 points for Matt and Erin. And then they can hope with last rock tide coming home that they can score at least 1, 2, and they can choose to use their power play, which leaves the center of the rings open, which will make it easier to score their 1 to win. We'll have to wait and see if this gets placed well behind the guard, and we'll see what Brent and Jennifer choose to do. There you go. The rock is on its way. Erin's kind of sweeping on and off, so that's usually a sign that the shot is pretty close to what they want. Matt has come up beside. He's ready to sweep to try and make it curl more. They want to make sure they get behind that guard. So if the rock's a bit heavy, they want to. So it looks like, Brent's going to hold the broom, and they will take out the blue at the back of the house. They're essentially saying they're going to, they don't mind Matt and Erin getting the 2. They're going to come home tied with the hammer. Probably use their power play, I think, to make it easier to guarantee a 1 point or an open draw for their 1. Okay. So Brent's come back down with Jen in the hack to sweep the rock. Okay. So we have updates. Both games on sheet 1 and 2 have finished the 7th end, and after Jen's shot, we will give you an update on those scores. Release the rock, and she has called Brent on this right away. This is, I think she's good. I think she had a little bit of panic out of her hand, and she will roll out, but she did hit the rock pretty solid. I don't think there was ever a danger of her missing that rock, but they would have liked to stick around. So now Erin will have a draw for their 2 points, which will tie the game up, and there will be hammer with Jones and Laing for the last end coming home. We have Bernard and Terry Meek have given up a steal of 1 and 7, so they now have last rock coming home, tied 5-5 with the team from Brooks, Katie Crump and Jason Wilson. And on sheet 2, we have Nadine Scotland and Charlie Thomas have scored 2 in the 7th after a big 3-ender in the 6th from Kelsey Rock and Jordan Steinke. So right now, Nadine Scotland and Charlie Thomas are up 7-6 over Kelsey Rock and Jordan Steinke, but Kelsey Rock and Jordan Steinke have last rock in the 8th end. Okay. So Erin's draw is on the way. Matt was sweeping quite hard. He's not sweeping too hard now. This looks like it'll be in the rings for 2 points for Dunstone and Pincott. Here we go. Oh. Hey, welcome back. Just needed a little break there to drink some water before we get to this exciting 8th end. We're just setting up the rocks here for the 8th end, and as I suggested, Jones and Laing have elected to use their power play. Once again, each team can do it once. So with last rock and the power play, to say it leaves the 4 foot open, and it should be easier for them to keep the play to the side and away from the 4 foot. And hopefully have an open draw for their last shot for the 1 point and the win. Considering the amount of great players here, and there's some club curlers, there's been a lot of really close games here. And I can't speak for Banff. I've only been here in the Canmore location for the 2 days, but there's been a lot of games going down at the 8th end, a lot of tie games. As we can see right now, of the 4 games we had at the 4:30 draw, 1 is tied coming home, 2 are tied coming home, and 1 is a 1 point game coming home. Okay. So Aaron will probably try and play the perfect center guard here. Typically teams that are ahead, if the other team plays a power play, will try and chip the guard, which is their own color, into the house, as you can't remove it, and open up the back rock. If you're tied or behind in this case, you put up a center guard because you want to have something up front that you can draw behind to the 4 foot. Jones and Laing look like they're going to be try and play a tick shot here, and they will try and get that guard off the center line without removing it from play. Once again, they're just trying to keep it open in the center of the sheet so that they can have an easy draw for the win at the last shot that Jennifer's going to play. Now this shot is tough at the best of times. Jen's hopped up quickly to come and sweep it, but to get the right line with 2 sweepers is tough sometimes. And Jen's sweeping it almost all the way. And Aaron is trying to sweep it all the way through the rings. That way they can replace it, and the red rock that Jennifer just threw will be taken out of play. As I said, it's a tough shot to play when it's a 4-person team and you have 2 sweepers right out of your hand. But when you have to jump up and chase the rock down and sweep it, it becomes a much tougher shot. The one thing that is good for Jones and Laing at the moment is it is quite a high guard, which makes it easier to get to a rock. If they draw behind it, it's harder to, especially with there is lots of movement on this ice right now that Darren Moulding set up for us. And you can get to rocks even if they're in the top 4 with a high guard like that. That's only a few feet past the hog line. You should be able to still remove a rock at the top 4. Okay. There you go. And yeah, and as usual, the games on sheets 1 and 2, there are a lot of rocks in play. Again, with doubles, especially in a close game, a 1 point game, if you're trying to steal, there does end up to be a lot of rocks in play. Not quite as open as the play in the 4-person game. Okay. So Matt has now delivered the rock there and sweeping. I'm thinking they were going to try and put a staggered guard in here behind that center guard to make it harder when they are allowed to remove rocks for Jones and Laing to get these rocks out of play. There we go. It's going to be just short of the house, and it is overlapped with the center guard that was left there. So, there we go. one good thing about having last rock is that this is the fourth rock delivered, so Brent can remove rocks here. And he will probably try and remove one, if not both of the guards. Jennifer seemed to be indicating they were going to peel out the guard that is just short of the house. There we go. No, he's going to hit the top guard. And looks like he's just going to straight peel the top guard. And there we go. He's peeled out the center guard. So now Pincott and Dunstone will set another one up there at the top. Just a few feet across the hog line there, they will try and do. And one of the reasons for that is they want to keep the guard that's just in front of the house. They want to keep their other guard pretty high up. The farther apart they are, the harder it is to remove both in one shot. If the shot comes too deep and is too close to that other guard, then Brent can probably throw a rock and remove both a lot easier than if they leave it nice and high just across the hog line. There we go. And there's Matt slides out. Release the rock. And no sweeping from Erin yet. She may kind of swing behind. She's swung behind the rock. She may need to sweep to try and get it to curl. They need to get that back closer to the center line. And if it does get back to the center line, it will be too deep. It is going to be quite a bit closer than, a little wider and a little closer than they wanted, but it's still pretty good. It is a staggered god. Okay. And unbelievable as it may sound, Jennifer and Brent's two daughters have been in the room this whole time, and they haven't watched any of the curling. Last time I checked on Skyla, she was watching Paw Patrol on her iPad. So maybe when they get a little bit older, not only will they watch curling, but they'll get into the curling. But the grandparents are here looking after the kids, and they're in the back of the room behind all the crowds watching Paw Patrol, and Bella is on her iPad as well. I'm not sure what she's watching, but they haven't watched any curling yet. Okay. Brent's in the hack, and he'll be throwing a bit of speed at this one, trying to remove some rocks from the front of the house. There you go. No sweeping from Jen yet. It's a pretty good line. I think, they just missed the double takeout. They were hoping to get rid of both of those blue guards on that shot. Just threw it a little bit wide. So they're still not in too bad of a position, though. Still half of the 4 foot showing behind that guard. It isn't right on the center. And this guard is quite deep. So it looks like Matt is he might be taking the other turn this time. No, he's throwing the same shot. He's probably just not going to throw it quite out as wide as far. Yep. And Erin's doing just a light sweep in front of the rock, keeping it clean. Especially later in the games, you might want to keep things clean. There might be more chance for debris on the ice. Erin's now sweeping it a little bit to get it to curl a little more. Once again, I think Matt's a little deeper than he wanted to be. So there's 2 rocks just in front of the house are quite close together. Should be able to double those off. Well, I've seen some of the players saying with the amount of curl they do have on these rocks, the takeouts, especially when you don't have 2 sweepers going with the rock the whole time, they've been moving quite a bit, and that's why a lot of the times these top curlers will throw really big weight at the takeouts. The 4-person game, they tend to throw a lot more. Board weight and hack weight takeouts because they're such lively houses, and they have 2 sweepers to help hold it straight. Whereas in doubles, you don't quite have that luxury, so you throw a little more weight so you can help control the line a little better. Yep. So Brent is in the hack now. And Jen's getting ready to sweep. And in a perfect world, he can double these 2 blue guards off, and his red will roll out of the way, leaving the center of the ice nice and open for them. It looks like it's very close, and he's got it, and the red rolls out of the way. It's a perfect shot from And this is the point of the power play, and this is what they were going for this whole end, keeping the center of the house open. So Aaron on this shot will probably try and draw onto the left side of the house, somewhere towards that red one, or just right in front of the top four. Possibly, depending what they think might be the weakness of Jones when she's throwing. If you put it in top four, you're hoping that she rolls out on the hit and somehow rolls into the other red, which is why you put it over towards the red. Then they can't remove it, and then you're making her draw to the 4 foot for the win. Okay. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And Aaron's in the hack. But yep. Okay, and Aaron's delivered the rock. Matt's on that. He's sweeping to keep it straight. And a bit for distance there, drawing over towards the red rock on the edge of the 8 foot. It should finish nicely right over by that red rock. If they don't get right on it, Jen can take it out. But if they're on it, then Jen will have to draw. Yeah. Brent and Jen right now are discussing it. Looks like they're going to hit that blue one. Because they can lose the red one that's behind the blue, as long as the blue stick rolls out and the red that Jennifer's throwing stays around in the house, they will win the game. Kelsey Rock over on sheet 2 is delivering her last rock. She's trying to, right now on that sheet, Rock and Steinke are lying 1, and she's trying to draw in between 2 to get a second counter. It looks like that game might be going to an extra end. Okay. So Jennifer is in the hack and getting ready. They've picked their line, and they will be trying to hit that blue and stick around to score 1 for the win. Okay. Once again, Brent is on the left side of the rock, so he's getting ready for his powerful side to sweep to keep the rock straight. Okay. She's released the rock. No sweeping as yet. It looks like it's on a good line. It's got to curl a little bit more to make sure that red's going to stick around. There we go. That looks good. 1 for Jones and Laing, and it is an 7-6 win for Jones and Laing over Matt Dunstone and Aaron Pincott. It's a very good game. Not a lot of missed shots. And I'd like to thank you. We can stick around. There is an extra end in the Kelsey Rock, Jordan Steinke against Nadine Scotland and Charlie Thomas match. Scotland and Thomas will have the last rock over there, which is quite a big advantage. There you go. And on sheet 1, the final score we have was Cheryl Bernard and Terry Meek won 6-5 over Katie Crump and Jason Wilson. Okay, and once again, our final score from sheet 4 is Jones and Laing won 7-6 over Matt Dunstone and Aaron Pincott in what was a really, really good curling match. Some really nice shots, and the crowd up here, Jones and Laing with their, they have such name recognition here that whenever they have curled here in Canmore, there's big crowds standing behind their sheet watching every shot they make. Okay. So I'm going to sign off for now. Once again, I'd like to thank all our sponsors. You can see on the live stream now, our local ice maker, Jim, Darren Moulding is out there. Our local ice maker, Jim and AJ are out there helping him. They're getting the ice ready for the 7 o'clock draw. So we'll be back at 7 o'clock with Desjardins, which is a team from Chicoutimi, Quebec, against Albrecht and Wozniak. Matt, of course, is Canadian, and Albrecht is from Switzerland. She plays with Tiernzoni. Once again, our sponsors will thank the Malcolm Hotel, of course, Qualico, our main sponsor, Bow Valley Basics, Bow Valley Credit Union, Visions Electronics, all our silver ones, and we have lots of other local ones, too many to mention. Town of Banff, Town of Canmore, and a few others in town. Shoppers Drug Mart, Banff Large and Company, Riverstone Insurance, Canbo Motors. But we'd like to thank all them, and we will be back at 7 o'clock with the next match. Thank you.